Hi everyone, this is Dikshit. Welcome to my channel. In this particular video, I'll be talking about Helm 3 commands. So before watching this video, I'll recommend you to watch my previous video where I have explained about the files which are there in the chats. So if you might have it's better to follow this particular video. Okay. So as I've told, we're gonna discuss about Helm 3 commands here. So when you type in Helm-H, so these are all the commands you'll be able to see. So these are all the available commands in Helm. So I'm gonna discuss briefly about each of these commands. So let's get on to the first command. The first command is Helm completion. So Helm completion is basically a command. So this command generates auto completion script for the Helm to a specified shell. Basically, what does this mean is like so. Let's say my shell is basically a bash here. Okay. So when I do Helm completion, bash, when I supply the shell, so then it'll give the output as a shell script. Okay, so what that means is like, let's say if you want to do Helm list of releases, then I need to use the command um, Helm list. Okay, so I want to start in this one. So like every day, if you're using Helm commands, it is better like not typing entire command. It is better to use the shortcuts. Okay, so you can use the script. You can make your commands in a shortcut. You can use your commands in a shortcut. So you can just source it. Basically, you need to do source, and then you need to give this redirection symbol, and then what you can do is Helm completion, and then you can give my in my case it's bash. I'm just giving a bash. Okay, when you do this, so like all your script has been sourced to your startup scripts. So what you can do is, now if you want to see the list of releases, it's just Helm ls. Okay, so basically to have a Helm shortcuts, so this command helps us. It gives a shell script, so wherein you can source it to your startup scripts, and then you can use it. You can use the Helm shortcuts. Okay, so this is about this command, and the next one is Helm create. So this is basically one of the important command also. Okay, so this command creates a chat directory along with the common files and directories used in a chat. Okay, so in my previous video I have already mentioned. So I mean, if you watch that one, so it is I mean, it gives a better idea. So to get a knowledge of what all commands I'm talking about. Okay, so basically when I do let's create one of the basic chat. Okay, so Helm create, and then if I give my chat name as test, so then it will create a folder, so by name test, as you can see on the screen. So in this test, so there will be files which are like common to each chat, like whatever the chat you create. So these are the common folders and common files it should have. Okay, so one is charts. Charts is basically to store dependencies of your chart. Okay, and then chat.yml, it is basically a metadata of your chart. But also you need to, in Helm 3, so we are not using requirement.yml, so you need to specify your dependencies in chat.yml. We'll discuss in when we come to Helm dependency command. Okay, and the next one is templates. So templates is basically it is basically a Kubernetes files. So as when I go there, you can see templates. Yeah, so all you can see like ingress, HPA, all these things related to Kubernetes, and underscore helpers.tmpl, where we will declare our functions, and test folder. So before actual deployment, so if you want to do any testing, so like let's say you have passwords and username, you want to test it before deploying your application. So in those scenarios, you can use a test folder, and you can write your test YMLs, and you can deploy it. Okay, and so values.yml, so which is basically will have all the values of our charts. And so when you do a Helm install, Helm upgrade, all the values which are there in values.yml will be interpolated, and then it will be deployed on Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so this is about Helm create. And let's say now so basically Helm create will create a folder which has basic files and folders. So that we wanted. Okay. So that is what Helm create does for us. And if you, let's say if you do again Helm create test, so what it will do, so it won't fail. So what it will do is like it will just override whatever the files which were there in a test file. Okay, so it add chat.yml values.yml, right? So all the things will be overridden by the new chat files. Okay, so you can create the same thing and the same folder, but like if you did any changes in those files, so it will be ignored and you can't recover it back. Okay, so please make sure you're not doing this one. So if you do this one, so you'll lose the old values. Okay, so this is about Helm create. And the next one is Helm dependency. So Helm dependency is basically is used for managing dependencies in Helm. And Helm charts store under, Helm dependencies basically will be stored under charts folder as I've shown in my previous command. So let me go inside that test folder again. Okay. So when you see, this is a folder wherein all my dependencies means, like, let's say if my application is there, which depends on some DB. Okay. So for that DB also I've used I need to use the charts and I need to declare it somewhere, right? So that is the place wherein I'll declare it here. Okay. And then the next one is, uh, I mean, uh, so as developer, it is very easy to maintain the dependencies in Helm charts. So what they need to do is like they need to declare it in charts.yml. And when you do a Helm install, Helm upgrade, so automatically Helm will see charts.yml and it will be whatever the dependencies is needed, it will be downloaded. Okay. So now let's see a quick example. Okay. So what we will do, so I have already a repo in GitHub. Let me just go to that one. So which is basically, I'll leave this link in description. Okay. So helm underscore. So in this, I guess in the chat.yml, I have updated. Yeah. So let's say I have some dependency. Okay. So which is basically app mesh controller. So I want to use it as a like a dependency in my thing. So let's go. I'm just showing like how we can declare a dependency. Okay. So what we need to do. So as this is a Helm 3, so you need to do that in chat.yml. Okay. So click on insert and then, so let me paste this one. Okay. So this is basically a dependency stack. Under that, like I'm just specifying the name. What is the name of the chart and the version, what I want. Okay. And where this particular chart is located. Okay. This is my chart where a location where my chart is existing. Okay. So when I do, so now if you see charts folder, so nothing is there. Okay. So this is how you'll declare a dependency. So so when you do Helm dependency -h. So this is how you if you want to see any help from any of the command, so you can use -h and it will list out all the information about that. So basically Helm dependency has three sub commands. Okay. So as you can see, alias is also created. So if you don't want to type in like dependency, so you can just type in like Helm dependency. Rather than dependency, you can just type in a dep. Okay. And the sub commands are build, list, and update. Okay. So when you say build, so basically when you do Helm dependency build, so what it will do is it will rebuild a charts folder based on the chart.log file. Okay. So when you do a Helm install or Helm upgrade, so whenever you execute any Helm commands, so basically what it will do is it will create one more file which is called as chart.log. Okay. In that, what we will be having is like whatever chart you have used, right? So that chart might have a few more dependencies, right? So that also to be maintained by us only, because it's kind of a it's kind of a transitive dependency. You are using one dependency, that dependency has one more dependency. Okay. So it basically it won't download it, like whatever you mentioned in charts.yml, it won't download. So whatever you have mentioned in chart.yml, so it basically synchronizes your chats.log file and a chats folder. Okay, so you can just it's just a rebuild. Okay, it's rebuild the chat directory based on the chat.log file. Okay, so you can use docker build, and my folder name is test, right? Sorry, I've used a tab, so sorry about that. Elm Dependency, and I need to use build, and then when I say test, sorry, I'm inside test, so I should go out first, and then yeah. When I do this, as you can see, so I mean one chat is saved. So when you go now to chats directory, so you'll be able to see one chat. Okay, so now so that is what it basically synchronizes your the chats directory with chats.log file. Okay, so when you say chats.log, so I guess whatever the dependency I've used, doesn't have any dependency. Okay, so it gives, like, as you can see, it has a dependencies that we have used. Okay, and then the next one is there is something called as Helm dependency list. So when I execute that, the PO list, so for my test chats, basically it will just list out the dependencies that I'm using in my charts. Okay, so if I've used multiple dependencies, then the dependencies will basically it will just list out all the dependencies. Okay, and the next one is next sub command is it is Helm dependency update. So Helm dependency update is basically updates the charts folder based on charts.yml. So let's say in my charts.yml, okay, in my charts.yml, if you remember, I have declared one dependency, right? Okay, yml, if you observe, I have so I have 0.5.0. Okay, so let's say I want to update this dependency. I don't need this version of dependency. I need something else. Okay, so I want to update this one. So what basically we need to do is so Helm chat has a great this one. So hub.helm.sh. This is a website. This is not a repo. Okay, so you can search all the charts, basically all the charts that you wanted here, and then you can use it easily in yours. Okay, so let's say I want to use something called as so what is app mesh control I've used, right? I can just search based on this. Okay, I guess this is the one I've used. Okay, so let's say I want to use different version. I don't need a 0.5.0. Okay, I want to use something other version. So I guess this particular chart has only one version. So let's take any other charts. Okay, so let me take something JFrog Artifactory, or yeah, let us take that only. So JFrog Artifactory, let me search for the smaller ones. Okay, let's go ahead and let's take that one only. So JFrog Artifactory, as you can see, it has different these things. So what we need to do is first we need to let me take the code editor. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is now I'll take one and then I'll try to update it. Okay, so this we will discuss Helm repo add and Helm install these commands in detail in coming slides. Okay, so first what I need to do is I need to go to my particular this one, and then I need to specify the name. So again name, and then I need to give my chart's name. Basically my chart name is Artifactory OSS, and then the version is version, let me take it as the latest version. So once we will do that, and then we will try to change later. Okay, so 2 point. Okay, and the next one is repository, and the repository is https jfrog chats.jfrog.io. Okay, so when I do this one, so now I have added one more dependency, right? So now I need to load them into my chats, because before doing any installation or any releasing my chats, so I need to verify whether the I mean whatever the configuration I built, like repo and the chat names that I've given is proper or not. So for that, what we need to do is Elm Elm dependency. So I'm just using a shortcut update. So tests. When I do this one, so basically it'll just check my particular um, uh, chats.yml, and it'll download the chats into my chats folder. So when I do ls on my chats folder, so let me show that. So when I do ls, as you can see, two things here. Okay, if you want to update anything, like let's say now I've used this one, so I want to change my version to 2.1. Okay, so it's very simple. So you can go to your again your chats.yml, and then you just need to change the version, that's all. Okay, so come to the down, and then you just change the version, that's all. So after this, like, you need to initiate a command, so which basically updates your chat folder. Okay, so now what you need to do is helm deploy, sorry, not deploy, it's dependency update test my chart name. Okay, when I do this one, sorry, as you can see now, again it is downloading. Okay, so when I go to my I do ls on my chats folder. So as you can see now, I mean my Artifactory OS is downloaded to 2.2.1. Okay, so this is how. So, and also I need to tell, like, this is one of the best Helm Hub, wherein we can search all the official chats for us. Okay, so I'll talk about this one also when I discuss about Helm repo command. Okay, in later slides. Okay, so the next one is Helm env. So this command is basically to get the Helm client environment information. So when I go to my command prompt, so when I type in Helm env, so it basically gives all the paths related client information, what are all the variables I have set, and where my configurations are there, and where is my repositories JSON. I mean, like, whatever the repositories I've used, all those things will be there. So all those paths can be able to easily find from this particular command. Okay. So the next one is Helm get. So the next command is Helm get. So basically, this command is used to download the extended information about the named releases. So if you have any releases, if you want to, like, let's say by without having a chart, directly from your URL, so you've installed some application. If you want to download any information by using named resources, named releases, so then you can go for the Helm get command. Okay, so basically for this one, so we need to have some release. So I'll use this command. So I'll talk about this command later. Okay. So Helm install. So you need to give a name. So let me give it as some random name. Okay. So now when you type in, so our charts will be deployed on Kubernetes cluster. Okay. So now, so my application has been successfully deployed on Kubernetes cluster. So when you do kubectl get all, so you'll be able to see a pod running with by using this particular one. Okay. I mean, it is trying to download app mesh, all this stuff. But my particular whatever the deploy what I did is like this one. So it is already up and running. Okay. So my release is there now. Now what I need to do is let's say I need to get the information about my Helm. Okay, my Helm release. So by using Helm get, it is very easy to get it. So my release name is XEXA. Okay. Now, so what I'll do is Helm get. So basically, Helm get again have subcommands, as you can see. So it has haul, hooks, manifest, nodes, and value. So we will go one by one. So Helm get, and then what we can do is like all about release X EXA. Okay, as you can see, it gives all the information for us. Okay, so what are all, I mean, the API version that I've used, the kind, so what are all the things it has been deployed, it will give all the things for us. Okay, basically downloading information about your releases. All means it can include so manifest, it can include hooks, nodes, and values. Okay, so then there is one more command. So get hooks, and if you need to give the chart name, so this is the hooks that I'm using in my particular charts. So this is basically test connection. So there is like hooks is a good concept, so let me show you that. So I have a URL, like the official URL. So Helm. Oh, so sorry, I don't have, I guess. So Helm hooks are basically, you can compare it with Git hooks. So wherein so it will be triggered before any particular event happens. Like if you install or if you upgrade, if you want to do anything, like so you can use the hooks. So best example for that is like, let's say you are redeploying your database application. Okay, you're redeploying your database. That time it is always suggested that take a backup and then redeploy it. So for that, so what you can do, you can use hooks wherein it will take the backup and then you're executing the actual thing. So in these cases, hooks plays a very important role. Okay. So that is about like hooks is basically, you can compare it with Git hooks. So which triggers, these files are triggered when a particular event happens. It can be a upgrade, or it can be an install, or it can be a rollback or something like that. Okay. And the next one is Helm get manifest. So manifest is basically whatever the files, Kubernetes files you have in your chats. So it will be rendered and it will be downloaded here. Okay. Then the next one is Helm get manifest we have discussed. So the next one, notes, and you need to give the chart release name. Basically. Okay. So this is the release notes that I've given in my charts. That is what it is showing here. Okay. And the next one is basically a values. So values, and then you need to give the chart name. Okay, so I don't have any supply values for it, so that's the reason it is not, I mean, use it, I have not changed any values, right? So that's the reason it is not giving any values. So if you want to see, I mean, whatever there was in the chart default, and but I wanted to see those things, then you can give -a, so all the values will be printed here. Okay, so by default, it shows only user changed values. If you don't change anything, you have taken, if you have taken the charts and you've deployed it like that only, so then no changes, right? So it won't show anything. So if you want to see those values also, then you can use -a and you can see all those values. Okay. So the next one is history. So basically, so the release history. So I'll be using this command in, uh, I mean, in my further commands also. So I'll just show now. So history is basically uh, my chart name I need to give. So it is basically to fetch the release history. So I've deployed my particular chart, right, onto Kubernetes cluster. So again, if you do a rollback or if you do upgrade, so all the information should be stored somewhere, right? Stored, and it should be displayed also. So by using Helm history and the release name, so I'll be able to see all the information about it. As you can see, the version is 1, and then date it has been updated and what status, whether this particular revision is deployed, right? So let me create one more upgrade, so that I'll discuss this command also. So Helm upgrade. So you just need to give which release you need to upgrade, and you need to give the folder of your charts. Okay, when you do this one, so I don't have any changes as of now, but again, I mean, it will create one more revision for us. So as you can see now, one more entry has come up in the history. So now if you see, so there is something called a suppressed, because my particular chart is running with this particular revision, and the description is there, and what version, and the chart. Okay, all this information will be shown. Okay, if you want to change, like let's say you are doing some automation, if you want to get the whatever this information, I don't need it in table format, I need it in some JSON format, then that is possible. Actually, there is an option -o, then you need to supply JSON. So what format you need, so it will supply it in JSON format. Okay, so then like let's say by default, so your application is upgraded and rolled back for many times, multiple times, let's say 500 times. Okay, so by default it is 256, so it is, so in a table, so it can show 256. But let's say you don't need to do that, you don't need to see that. I just need only five, so the last five records. So I don't have last five, right? So what I'll do is I'll just take max one. Okay, I need only one, the last one. So then I can do -hyphen max one. So by default it is set to 256. Like if you want to limit to 10 or 20, so then you can use this particular option. Okay, so this is about Helm history command. And the next one is Helm install. So this is one of the important command. So basically, if so, help have missed out, I guess. So history I have explained, right? Help is basically so whatever, if you want to help of any command, or help if you type, so it can list out all the commands it has. Okay, so this is one of the the documentation, like they have provided in the command prompt itself. When you type help, so it will list out all the commands and information about that. Okay? And history I have discussed. The next one is helm install. Okay, and so let me clear the screen. So Helm install. So basically now I have the folder test, right? So if you want to deploy it on Kubernetes cluster, so this command installs our chart and also chart archives. So whatever install, so it can accept the tar files or a folder or a URL, anything. It can accept all these three things. In my case, I have already a folder, right? So charts folder. So I can give this one and I can install it. Okay. So it is very simple. Helm install, and I need to give a name for a particular release. I've already used this particular name. So let me name it as test. So then I need to provide this particular chart name. Okay. Sorry. So test is my folder name. So I'll just need to give the folder name. Okay. As you can see, let me do Helm ls. So when I do this one, so as you can see, I have two releases. So one is so this is the last. The previous one I have did. So this is the current one. Like, this is the one I have did recently. Okay. So I have a couple of other things, other options to discuss here. So one more is like Helm. So let me delete these things because to show off this options again, I'll be installing many charts. So what we need to do is to delete. So basically, I'll use the shortcut. Okay. So now it is uninstalled, and I'll. So now one thing is like, let's say in my chart, so some value is there. Like if I open it, so let me open that service file. Okay. So test templates. Under that, I have service.yml. So when you see this one, see my particular service is set to, I guess, service.type. Okay, I need to check this one in values.yml. Let's do that. So when I see service, yeah, so it is set to cluster IP. Okay, if I, let's say I need to use this particular application from outside the world, like if I eat from the browser, it should be accessible. Okay, if I want to do that, so then I need to set it to not to cluster IP. It should be a node IP, right? So in that case, if I want to change anything, like I need to set something, so then I can pass it by command prompt also. Okay, by command line also I can change that particular value. Okay, so so how that is done is like you can just use Helm install, and then you need to give the name. So let me give it as test, and the folder test, and then I need to give, there is something called as hyphen set, and then I need to give, so it is basically a service, right? Service dot I is equals to, I need to give so what value, node port. Okay, so here so whatever I'm giving, right, it won't actually update my particular chat folder. Okay, basically it doesn't update my code. It basically, this value is taken into account when you render when Helm renders the charts. Okay, when I type in s, so then this particular node port is taken, and then my particular application will be deployed. Okay, so this is how we can set the values from command prompt. I just wanted to show, so that's the reason I've just given them. Okay, so let's say you want to run, so you have some hooks. Okay, so if you don't want to use those hooks and all, so then you can use an option. There is hyphen no hooks. So what it does, it basically it ignores the hooks, whatever hooks you have, and then it will deploy. Okay, and then the next one is so I've used a name here, right? So let's say so in Helm 3 basically name is mandatory. If you don't give name, so let's take off this particular one. So when I try to enter now, it says like else I'll not gonna deploy and given this class. But in Helm 2 it used to deploy. Okay, so so I need to either give that particular one. So if you think like I don't need, I mean, it's still fine. Let it generate a random name. So then I need to use hyphen generate hyphen name. When you do this one, so it will generate a random name, and then it will be deployed. Okay. So now if you do Helm ls, so you'll be able to see two deployments. One is test, another one is like a random name. Something is affixed with your chart's name. Okay. So this is how. And one more thing. So let's say you're so you don't have any charts, you want to install it from somewhere. As you can see, I've just this is this user, right? So you have Helm install, and you have specified this particular one. I can, let me take this particular one. So then there is an option, so wherein you can specify hyphen version also, what version to be installed. Okay, and there is an option wherein we can mention the repo also. Okay, so repo, and then we can mention this particular repo. Okay, so these are the options that I am just discussing in. Okay, so I didn't specify any name, right? So that is why it is failing. Okay, it failed because I didn't specify any name. So let me take this option itself. Okay, so when I do this one, okay, I guess there is some, it is not found. I don't know why it is not found in repository. So don't know. Maybe it is not able to find this particular version also. So let's try one more. Any other chats? Okay. So let me take this particular one. So I just wanted to show. I mean, this particular option is there. We can specify the repo basically. Okay. So let me construct my command here only. Helm install, and then I need to give, oh, sorry, I guess I did some mistake. Okay, yeah, I got it. So it was my typo mistake. Not typo mistake. It's basically I've copied something. Okay. I shouldn't mention this JFrog. Okay. So when I specify like that JFrog, basically I'm specifying the repo name. Okay. I don't have any repo name here, right? I'm just giving a repo link itself directly. So as you can see now, my Artifactory voices is deployed. Okay. So now when I do Helm ls, so I'll be able to see the three things. Okay. So let's delete all these things because I wanted to keep my instance in safe because it is I'm using a GCP, so it might consume my a lot of it might charge me as well. So that's why I'm just creating and deleting. Okay. So this is about this particular Elm install. So there are many other options also. So these are all the options in daily so basis I'll be using in my project. So that's what I wanted to show you by using Helm install and few more things. So we can use -if username and -if password. If your registry is private and which is not public, then you need to use those particular options. Okay. So the next one is Helm Lint. So Helm Lint is basically so you have a charts. Basically, you have charts. So you need to validate like before deploying to a Kubernetes cluster. It is always best you just verify the syntax and whether it is uh, properly managed or not, properly declared or not. All these things should be verified, right? So that's the reason. So you'll use lint for it. So Helm Lint is one of the command by which you can uh, verify lint it. Basically you're just checking the syntax whether whatever you have used in your charts is correct or not. So which is very simple. Helm lint, and you need to give the chart name. Okay, that's all. So when you give this one, so if it is proper, then it says like one chart is linted and zero charts is failed. If something error is there, so then it will say like one chart is failed. Okay, and then let's say you want to delete. So you want to fail your charts even if it has some warnings. Okay, so because so someone like some people like they'll restrict that also. I shouldn't have warnings also. In that case, you can use the strict option. So when you do this one, so as you can see, so because maybe my particular whatever the dependency I've used, so it might have some warnings. So that's the reason it is failing. As you can see, there is an error and it is giving some notification because whatever the dependencies I've used, it might have some warnings, right? So that's the reason it is failing. So if you want to make sure the lint fails when there is some warnings, then you can use this particular option. Okay, and in this particular option, you can use the set value also. So by which like you can supply the values from command prompt also. Okay, that is one more option that you can use. Okay, the next one is Helm List. So I have already used this particular command multiple times. So Helm List is basically to list out all the releases that you have. As of now, I have deleted everything, so that's the reason I don't have it. Okay, so let's create one for this particular Helm List demo. So Helm install, so test and test. So the name, whatever you want, you can give it. Like it's not mandatory that I need to give that only. So I can give my app. Okay. So then I can let me take off this space here. So when I do this one, so it will be deployed by using my app. Okay. So now when you do ls, basically shortcut, so you'll be able to see the releases in my particular Kubernetes cluster. Okay. And then let's say, so whatever the output Helm ls is only specified to this particular namespace. So let's deploy one more this chart onto different namespace. As you can see now, I am in. Let me check what namespace I'm in. kubectl config view. So this basically tells me what namespace I'm in. I'm not. I guess I'm not there in any of the namespace. I should be in some namespace. So yeah, let me make it like I'll be just changing it to default namespace. So this is the command, basically kubectl config set hyphen context hyphen hyphen current and hyphen hyphen namespace is equals to default. So this is a command. So when you execute this one, so it is set to particular namespace. Now when I say kubectl config view, so now I'll be able to see which namespace I'm in. Okay. So now when I do Elm ls, so I'm there, and I mean I did my all releases in default, but I didn't set right. So basically, whenever I relog in, so I guess this particular value is not set, I guess so. Okay. So then let's say let's install our application onto different namespace also. So this is also one of the option hyphen hyphen Helm install. So Helm install, I need to give the app name. So in Helm 3, I can use the same name if I'm deploying into different namespaces. Okay. So then I need to give my chart name, and then I can use this particular option hyphen hyphen namespace, and then I can specify the namespace I want to deploy. kubectl kube system. Okay, I'll deploy to this namespace. Okay, so this hyphen hyphen namespace is basically already exists. A rendered manifest contains. Okay, so it is, I guess. Okay, my context is set to this particular default. So it is failing with some of the error. I don't know why it is. So it is failing with some error. So I mean, basically, I just wanted to show if you want list out all the releases which are there in all the namespaces, then you need to use hyphen hyphen all namespaces. Okay, so if you use this particular one, so it will be listing all the charts which are releases are there in different things. Okay, so and also you can use so the max again. So if you want to just restrict maximum to last 10 or something, you can use hyphen hyphen max. In my case, it is only one, so that's the reason. So and then if you have any failed or something like that, so then you can use hyphen hyphen failed. So it'll show us the failed releases. So like that only, if you want to check for deployed or installing or anything like so you can use a particular versions for that. So let me show that help command now. Helm ls -h when you do. So there are a lot of options here. All namespaces, date, deployed, failed. You can use a filter. So if let's say you have many releases, you want to filter it out and based on some regular expressions, you can use that. And which are all pending releases, all those things you can see. Okay. So that is what about this particular Helm list. So I'll stop this video at this point. So I have a couple of other commands, right? We want to discuss. So I'll discuss in another video. So this is part one of Helm commands video. So in the next video, I'll discuss about the rest of other commands. Okay. So please do watch that also. Thank you. If you have liked the video, please share and subscribe. And thank you. Have a good day.